The Babysitter. It was a quiet evening in the small town of Millfield, where everyone knew each other and nothing much ever happened. The Matthews family had recently moved into the neighborhood and needed a babysitter for their young son, Tommy, while they attended a charity gala. They hired a girl named Emily, a local high school student who came highly recommended by the neighbors. Emily arrived promptly at 7 p.m., her bright smile and cheerful demeanor putting Mrs. Matthews at ease. She had dark hair pulled back into a ponytail and wore a simple yet stylish outfit. She seemed perfect, friendly, responsible, and full of energy. Mr. and Mrs. Matthews left the house, confident that their son was in good hands. "Hi, Tommy. My name's Emily," she said, crouching down to his level. Tommy, a shy 5-year-old with curly blonde hair, clutched his favorite stuffed bear and gave a small nod. "We're going to have so much fun tonight." As the evening wore on, Emily played games with Tommy, read him stories, and even let him stay up a bit past his bedtime to watch a cartoon. Tommy was starting to feel comfortable around her, and Emily seemed like the perfect babysitter. Around 9 p.m., after putting Tommy to bed, Emily sat down in the living room and took out her phone. She texted someone briefly, then put the phone away and stood up, a strange smile playing on her lips. She quietly walked down the hall to Tommy's room and opened the door. The soft glow of a nightlight illuminated the room. Emily watched Tommy sleep for a few moments, her expression unreadable. She then reached into her bag and pulled out a long, thin knife. Holding the knife, she approached Tommy's bed. Just as she was about to lean over him, Tommy stirred and opened his eyes. Seeing the glint of the blade, he froze, his eyes wide with fear. "Emily, what are you doing?" he whispered, his voice trembling. Emily's smile widened, but her eyes were cold and devoid of emotion. "Shh, Tommy. It's time for a game." Terrified, Tommy tried to scream, but Emily quickly clamped her hand over his mouth. "Be quiet," she hissed. "You wouldn't want to wake the neighbors, would you?" Tommy's heart pounded in his chest. He knew he had to do something, but his mind was racing with fear. Emily raised the knife, and in a desperate move, Tommy bit down hard on her hand. Emily yelped in pain and pulled back, giving Tommy a chance to scramble out of bed. He darted past her and ran down the hall, his tiny feet pattering on the wooden floor. Emily recovered quickly and chased after him, the knife glinting ominously in the dim light. Tommy ran into the kitchen and grabbed the phone on the counter. His hand shook as he tried to dial 911, but Emily was faster. She grabbed him by the arm and yanked him away from the phone, throwing him to the ground. "You're making this harder than it needs to be, Tommy," she said, her voice eerily calm. She raised the knife again, but before she could bring it down, the front door burst open. Mr. and Mrs. Matthews stood there, horrified by the scene unfolding in front of them. "Emily, what are you doing?" Mr. Matthews shouted, rushing forward. Emily turned to face him, a look of madness in her eyes. "You shouldn't have come back," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "This was supposed to be easy." Mrs. Matthews quickly grabbed Tommy and pulled him away while Mr. Matthews tried to subdue Emily. A struggle ensued, and in the chaos, Emily managed to slash Mr. Matthews across the arm. He cried out in pain but continued to fight. The commotion had drawn the attention of the neighbors, and soon sirens wailed in the distance. The police arrived within minutes, bursting into the house and pulling Emily off Mr. Matthews. They quickly restrained her and took the knife away. As Emily was led out in handcuffs, she turned to look at Tommy, her eyes filled with a twisted kind of satisfaction. "This isn't over," she whispered. "I'll be back." Tommy clung to his mother, tears streaming down his face. The police assured the Matthews that Emily would be put away for a long time, but the words did little to comfort them. The terror of that night would linger in their minds forever. In the days that followed, the Matthews family learned that Emily had a history of violent behavior and had slipped through the cracks of the system. They vowed to be more careful in the future, but the scars of that night would never fully heal. The quiet town of Millfield would never be the same again. The story of the murderous babysitter spread quickly, serving as a grim reminder that sometimes, even the most seemingly perfect people can hide the darkest secrets. If you like this story and want to hear more scary stories from yours truly, then don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell to get notifications when your Valley Ghoul uploads new stories to chill you to the bone. Like, what else have you got to do? You know you love it. Sweet dreams, sweeties. Until next time.